Hey there, geometry. It's Mr. Lamb coming to you with the final page, page 4 of the Unit 1 test. So let's start things off with question number 10. Question number 10 was worth 2 points. Here's the way I scored it. If you picked at least one pairing that were congruent, even if you picked anything else, if you had at least one pair that was truly congruent, you got 1 point. But if you could find all 4 of the right pairings and you only picked the right 4, you got the second point. So getting at least one set got you the first point, but getting all 4 of the correct sets without any of the extra ones got you the other point. So let's see what it says. It says in the diagram below, A, B, and C, D, A is parallel to B and C is parallel to D. Which of the following have equal measures? Circle all that apply. Hint, there might be multiple answers. There are. There are actually 4 of them. So let's first take a look at number 1 and number 7. If you look at number 1 and number 7, regardless of parallel lines, those 2 angles are vertical, and vertical angles are always congruent. So A is a right answer. You should have circled A. Let's take a look at B, 13 and 5. So 13 and 5. It tells us that A and B are parallel. So 2 parallel lines cut by transversal D. 5 and 13 are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are congruent. So B should be circled. Those 2 are congruent. Let's look at 10 and 11. My 2 parallel lines in this case are C and D, cut by the transversal, which is B. 10 and 11 are same side interior. Same side interior are supplementary. 10 and 11 add up to 180. They're not the same. So I am going to not circle C. Let's look at D, 8 and 4. My transversal is A, so 8 and 4 are alternate exterior angles. They are congruent. So D joins the congruent club. 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are adjacent angles that make up a straight line. We call those linear pair. Linear pair angles are supplementary. Those 2 add up to 180. They are not congruent. Let's try 10 and 14. 10 and 14. The transversal is B. 10 and 14 then are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are congruent. Remember, anytime you have parallel lines, so this whole section, with the exception of A, B, D, and F are all true because it says that the lines are parallel. See that I underlined it up there. They are parallel lines. And if you have parallel lines cut by a transversal, then you have all of these congruences. So if it would not have said that I had parallel lines, then the only answer would have been A. Let's take a look at question number 11. Question number 11 is worth 3 points. And again, it says find the value of x. I gave you 2 points if you found x, and MR, if you correctly plugged it in, then I gave you credit for MR. Again, if you plugged in the wrong x value, I could still give you a point there for doing the process right. So it says points M, R, and S are collinear, where R is between M and S. So I'm going to draw a picture. So M, R, S are collinear. R is between M and S. So here's M, here's S, and R is somewhere in between. I don't know where. I just know it's somewhere in between. And then it says that MR. So M to R, this little segment down here is X plus 2. And RS, the segment on the right, is 11. And MS, this whole big segment here, the whole thing is 3x minus 1. So this question deals with segment addition postulate. Segment addition postulate says if I take the two small segments, in this case MR and RS, and I add them together. So let's do that. X plus 2 and 11. If I add the two small segments together, it will equal the big giant segment that they make together. So MR plus RS will make MS. So X plus 2 plus 11 has to equal 3x minus 1. So combine like terms, x plus 13 equals 3x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. X plus 14 equals 3x. Subtract x on both sides. And I'm going to try to scoot this up, squeeze all this stuff down in there. And then divide by 2. So 7 is equal to x. So x equal to 7 gets you the first 2 points. The last point comes from it wants you to find MR. So segment MR is x plus 2. So in this case, x plus 2. The x we just said was 7. So MR is 7 plus 2, or 9 units. 9 units long. So if you found whatever x value you had, if you just added 2 to it, you at least got 1 point for the MR, even if you missed the point for x. All right, and then numbers 12 and 13. These are both constructions. They are both worth 2 points. So 2 points and 2 points. Which makes this page a total of 9. So what was I looking for in the constructions? All right, so number 12 says, using a compass and a straight edge, construct a line that passes through the midpoint of the following segment. Well, the easiest way to draw a segment that goes through the midpoint is to put in the perpendicular bisector. And the perpendicular bisector is we're going to take the compass, open it up over halfway. As long as I'm over halfway, I put an arc. And then I jump to the other end. Still at the same distance on the compass. Then I do another arc. And then I connect where the two arcs meet. So I just connect right through there. So let me make the construction marks a little bit fainter. So you can kind of see, those would be the nice light lines that you would have used with the compass. What I was looking for on the 2 points were, did you have the construction itself? Could I tell that you opened up past halfway and made 2 arcs that intersected? If it looked like you did everything right, I didn't actually measure it out to make sure it was in the middle. But if it looked like you had the right process and you did everything right, you got 2 points. So you got 1 if I could see that you had an idea what you needed to do, but maybe you didn't connect them both. Or maybe you made some other mistake in there that made it look like it could have been another one of the constructions that we've done. So if that were the case, you may have lost a point somewhere on that one. And then number 13, the final problem says, using a compass and a straight edge, construct an angle that has the same measure as the following angle. So this is just copying an angle. So in order to copy an angle, I'm going to start with a red that has an endpoint on one side. So I just do some sort of a red. And then I'm going to put an arc across an angle. and I'll put that same arc out across my ray. Apply that and that. All right, so I have my mark. Now, again, these are construction marks, so let me go ahead and make them a little bit smaller. That way we can tell that they are construction marks. And the last part of this is I have to use my compass to measure how wide open the angle is. So I'm going to just measure using my compass. So measure from one spot right there. That is how wide open my angle is. So, and here you can see I just flip my compass around. So I'm going to move this down to that intersection point. And I'm going to intersect that as well. So again, that is another construction mark. So you can tell the construction mark. And in order to finish this up, I just put another ray in there. Starts at the same endpoint, goes right through that construction mark, and goes on and on and on. What I was looking for there, the construction marks, I wanted to make sure that you had the same arc on the given angle and your new angle, and then that you were measuring back across that arc to find the point where it's going to cross and go through. So hopefully this has been beneficial for you, and that is the end of the Chapter 1 test.